Han Mi pressed her small hands against the thick glass of the observation dome, her eyes wide with wonder as she watched the red dust storms of Mars swirl outside. At 7 years old, she had never seen Earth except in videos, but she didn't mind. New Busan, the Korean space colony, was her home, and she loved every part of it. Maida, time for dinner, her mother called from the living quarters. 5 more minutes, please. The ships are coming in. May bounced on her toes, leaving tiny fingerprints on the glass. Above the colony, 3 supply ships descended like falling stars, their engines glowing bright against the orange Martian sky. Her father, Commander Han Tae, walked up behind her and placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. He was still in his black and silver uniform, having just finished his shift at the colony's Defense Command Center. "Which one is the lead ship?" he asked, pointing to the vessels above. May squinted, thinking hard. "The one with the blue lights is in front, so that's the leader. The others follow its path." She looked up at her father proudly. "That's my girl." He smiled. "You'll make a fine navigator someday." The colony stretched out below them like a giant wheel, its spokes connecting the outer ring to the central hub. Gardens bloomed under transparent domes, providing both food and oxygen for the 10,000 residents. May loved watching the gardeners tend to the plants, especially when they let her help plant new seedlings. At the dinner table, May's mother served bowls of hot soup and rice. The food was grown right there in the colony, but May's mother knew how to make it taste just like her grandmother's cooking back on Earth. As they ate, Commander Han's tablet buzzed. "Control room calling," May's mother asked, her spoon pausing halfway to her mouth. Han Tai checked the message and frowned. Something new on the long-range scanners, probably just another asteroid. But the way he stood up quickly told a different story. "Can I come watch?" May asked hopefully. Sometimes her father let her visit the control room, where she could see all the screens showing ships and stars. "Not tonight, little one. Finish your dinner and help your mother with the dishes." He kissed the top of her head before heading out. Later that night, Mai sat at her desk, drawing pictures of spaceships. She had a special notebook where she kept all her ship designs. Some had wings, others were round like balls, and her favorite ones had rainbow-colored engines. A sudden commotion outside made her look up. People were running past her window, heading toward the central hub. The emergency lights started flashing, but instead of the usual red warning color, they pulsed with a soft blue light, the signal for first contact protocol. Mai ran to her window. High above the colony, a massive ship appeared, unlike anything she had ever seen. It was beautiful and scary at the same time, shaped like a giant silver leaf with strange patterns glowing along its hull. Smaller ships surrounded it, moving in perfect formation. Her mother rushed into the room. "May, come away from the window." "But Mom, look. Are they aliens? Real aliens?" May couldn't contain her excitement. They had learned about the possibility of alien life in school, but no one had ever actually met any. "Yes, but we need to stay inside until your father says it's safe." Her mother's voice was calm, but May noticed she kept checking her phone for messages. In the control room, Commander Han Ta stood with his team, watching the massive ship on their screens. Years of training and preparation were about to be tested. Earth had always known this day would come. They had found too many ruins on Mars and the Moon to think they were alone in the universe. "Sir, they're broadcasting a message," his assistant reported. "It's in multiple frequencies." "Wait, they're using our own communication protocols." Han Ta straightened his uniform. "Put it through." The screens flickered, and a face appeared. At least, they thought it was a face. The alien had smooth, pale blue skin and large, dark eyes that seemed to shift color like oil on water. "People of Mars colony New Busan," the alien spoke in perfect Korean, its voice melodious and strange. "We are the Ryun. We come seeking peaceful exchange." In her room, Mai had sneaked back to the window despite her mother's wishes. She watched the alien ships with pure joy, imagining all the new friends she might make, the new things she might learn. She pulled out her notebook and started drawing the leaf-shaped ship, adding extra stars around it to make it look more magical. She had no way of knowing that this moment, filled with so much wonder and hope, would be the beginning of humanity's darkest hour and its greatest triumph. 2 weeks after the Rion's arrival, New Buzan buzzed with excitement. The aliens had set up a cultural exchange center in the colony's main dome, and today was special. Han-Mi's class would be the first group of children to visit. Remember to bow properly, Mi's teacher, Ms. Kang, told the 20 students lined up at the center's entrance. The children wore their best school uniforms, dark blue with silver trim. Mai had spent extra time making sure her hair ribbons were perfect. The doors slid open. Inside, the room sparkled with strange lights that danced across crystal-like walls. 3 Rion waited for them, their blue skin shimmering under the colony's lights. The tallest one, who called himself Sa, stepped forward. "Welcome, young ones," Sa said, his voice making the air hum. "Today, we will show you wonders from across the stars." Mai couldn't stop smiling. She had brought her notebook, hoping to draw out everything she saw. The other children whispered excitedly as Sa led them deeper into the center. In the Defense Command Center, Commander Han Ta watched the visit through security cameras. Something bothered him about the Rion, but he couldn't put his finger on it. They were too perfect, too careful in everything they did. "Sir," his assistant called, "we've decoded more of their ship's transmissions. You need to see this." The messages revealed a darker truth. Words like test subjects and inferior species appeared again and again. Han Ta's hands tightened into fists. He reached for his communicator to stop the school visit, but alarms suddenly blared through the colony. Back in the exchange center, Sa was showing the children a floating ball of light. "This is how young Ryan learned about gravity," he explained. The ball spun faster and faster, changing colors. "Can I touch it?" May asked, stepping forward. She had already filled 3 pages with drawings. Sa's eyes flickered strangely. "Of course, brave one. Come closer." Ms. Kang felt uneasy. "Perhaps we should." The ball suddenly exploded in a flash of blinding light. When everyone could see again, Han-Mi lay motionless on the floor. Other children screamed and cried. Ms. Kang rushed forward, but a force field appeared, blocking her way. "How unfortunate," Sa said, his voice now cold and empty. "It seems human children are more fragile than we thought. This will make an excellent data point." Security teams burst through the doors, led by Commander Han Ta himself. The force field vanished. Medical staff rushed to Mei, but they were too late. Han Ta cradled his daughter's body, her notebook still clutched in her lifeless hands. The pages fluttered open, showing her last drawing, the ball of light surrounded by question marks. "This was no accident," Han Ta said, his voice shaking with grief and rage. "You did this on purpose." Sa looked down at him, all pretense of friendliness gone. "We needed to understand human emotional responses to loss. Your species is young, primitive. How else could we learn your weaknesses?" The other Rian moved forward, but Han Ta's security team had their weapons ready. "You've made a terrible mistake," Han Ta said, still holding Mai. "You think you're studying us, testing us? You have no idea what you've just started. Your weapons cannot harm us," Sa said. "Your technology is centuries behind ours. This colony, like all human settlements, exists only because we allow it." Han Ta looked up, tears streaming down his face. "No, this colony exists because we built it. Those ships you saw, we built them. The gardens that feed us, we grew them. Everything humanity has, we earned through hard work and sacrifice." He stood up slowly. "And now you'll learn what happens when you take something precious from us." Alarms rang through the colony again. On every screen, emergency orders flashed. Earth had received the evidence of the Rian's true intentions. Humanity's hidden fleet, built in secret over decades, was mobilizing. Sa's expression changed slightly. Was it concern? What is this? You thought you were the teachers. Han Te's grief hardened into cold determination. Let me teach you something. Never mistake patience for weakness. Never mistake peace for helplessness. And never, ever harm a human child. The Rayan retreated to their ships as Earth's response began. In orbit around Mars, hidden weapons platforms activated. Across the solar system, stealth facilities powered up. Humanity had prepared for this day, hoping it would never come. In the exchange center, Han Ta picked up Mi's notebook one last time. Her drawings of spaceships would never fly. Her dreams would never come true. But her death would not be meaningless. The war for humanity's future was about to begin. Admiral Park Sun stood at the window of her office on Luna Base, watching Earth glow blue and white against the black sky. Behind her, screens showed military bases across the solar system coming to life. Doors built into asteroids opened to reveal hidden shipyards. Weapons platforms disguised as communication satellites powered up their engines. "Play the message again," she ordered. The screen showed Commander Han Te's face, his eyes red with tears, but his voice steady. "The Rayan killed my daughter. Not by accident. Not in anger. They did it to test us, to study us like lab rats." He took a deep breath. "I am invoking Emergency Protocol 7. Park Sun had known Han Ta for 20 years. They had trained together, fought together. Now his daughter was dead, and humanity's greatest secret was about to be revealed. "Launch the fleet," she commanded. Deep under the lunar surface, massive hangar doors slid open. The EFS Vengeance, Earth's most advanced warship, rose from its hidden dock. Nearly a kilometer long, its black hull absorbed light rather than reflected it. 20 years of reverse-engineered alien technology from crashed ships and ruins had gone into its creation. In her quarters, Park Sun packed quickly. A photo on her desk showed her with Han Ta's family at Mi's 5th birthday. The little girl had frosting on her nose and a toy spaceship in her hands. "Admiral," her computer announced, "the first wave is ready." She stepped onto the bridge of the Vengeance 10 minutes later. The crew worked at their stations, their movements quick but calm. They had trained for this day their entire careers. "Show me the fleet." The main screen lit up. 500 ships appeared, divided into attack groups. Some were small and fast, built for hit-and-run attacks. Others were huge carriers, holding squadrons of fighters. All of them had been built in secret, hidden from the Rayan's watching eyes. "Message from Earth Command," her communications officer reported. "The President has approved full military response. All defensive treaties are now active." Park Sun nodded. Humanity had suspected they weren't alone in space. They had found too many ruins, too many signs of ancient battles. While they built colonies and traded goods, they had also prepared for war. The Rayan ships still orbited Mars, probably thinking they had frightened humanity into submission. They didn't know about the weapons hidden in Mars' moons. They didn't know about the stealth ships watching their every move. "Send the coded signal to Commander Han," Park Sun ordered. "Tell him to get his people to the shelters." On Mars, Han Ta received the message in the colony's command center. He had not slept since Mi's death. His wife worked with the medical team, helping prepare for what was coming. "All civilians to shelter areas," he announced over the colony speakers. "This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill." Families hurried through the corridors, carrying only what they could pack quickly. Children clutched toys and pets. Parents tried to look brave for them. In orbit, the Rayan ships noticed the movement. Their leader, Sa, sent a message to the colony. "Your fear is noted. It will make an interesting addition to our study." Han Ta didn't respond. Instead, he watched his screens as hundreds of dots appeared, moving fast toward Mars. Humanity's hidden fleet was coming. The Rayan ships detected the approaching fleet too late. Their sensors had been designed to look for primitive human technology, not the advanced ships Earth had built in secret. "This is Admiral Park Sun of the Earth Defense Fleet," her message boomed across all channels. "You have committed an act of war against humanity. You have murdered an innocent child. Surrender now, or face the consequences." The Realm's response was quick and arrogant. "Your primitive weapons cannot harm us. Perhaps we should conduct more tests on your colonies." Park Sun's face hardened. "All ships, battle positions. Show them what humanity has learned while they weren't watching." The fleet split into attack groups, just as they had practiced countless times. The Vengeance led the main force, its weapons powering up. Smaller ships darted between Mars's moons, using them for cover. Hanta watched from the colony as humanity's true strength revealed itself. In his pocket, he carried Mi's notebook, its pages filled with drawings of the ships that would now avenge her death. The battle for Mars was about to begin, and the Rion were about to learn that humanity had never been as helpless as they thought. The battle began with light. Bright flashes lit up Mars' sky as humanity's fleet struck without warning. Hanta watched from his new ship, the Memory of Dawn, as the first wave hit the Rion fleet. "They're not raising their shields," his second officer reported. "They still think we're primitive." The Memory of Dawn was a special operations vessel, smaller than the Vengeance, but just as deadly. Its black hull was shaped like an arrow, and its weapons were hidden under smooth panels. Hanta had named it after Mi's favorite time of day. The Rion ships tried to fight back, but they were too slow. Earth's fleet moved in patterns they had practiced for years. Small, fast ships darted in, fired their weapons, and vanished behind Mars' moons. Larger ships protected the colony with energy shields reverse-engineered from ancient alien ruins. "Their leader is hailing us," the communications officer said. Saz's face appeared on the screen. His blue skin had turned pale. "How is this possible? Your species was studying basic rocket engines just decades ago." "You saw what we wanted you to see," Hante replied. His voice was calm, but his hands gripped his chair tightly. "Every time you found one of our colonies, we showed you old technology. Every time you scanned our ships, we let you see simple engines. But we were learning, growing, preparing." 3 Rion ships exploded as Admiral Park's Vengeance fired its main guns. The weapons used technology found in ruins on Europa, Jupiter's moon. The Rion had never thought to look there. "All ships, attack pattern Delta," Park Sun commanded. The fleet moved as one, surrounding the Rion vessels. "Remember your training. Remember why we fight." The battle moved to Deimos, Mars' smaller moon. The Rion tried to hide behind it, not knowing that humanity had built a base inside the moon years ago. Hidden guns emerged from Deimos' craters, catching the alien ships in a crossfire. "Admiral," Hanta called through the command channel. "They're trying to send a message to their homeworld." "Block their signals," Park ordered. "Use the jammers." Special ships moved into position, using technology humanity had discovered in ancient communication arrays on Mercury. The Rion ship's calls for help died in space. Saz's vessel, the largest of the Rion ships, turned to flee. But Earth's fleet had planned for this too. Ships hidden in Mars' asteroid belt moved in, cutting off their escape route. "You killed my daughter," Hanta said, watching Seta's ship try to find a way out. "You thought it would show our weakness. Instead, you woke a sleeping giant." The Memory of Dawn moved closer to Saz's ship. Hanta could see the alien vessel's engines glowing as they tried to power up their advanced drives. But humanity had studied those drives too, finding their plans in ruins on Venus. "Target their engine cores," he ordered. "Defensive pattern Sigma." His crew worked smoothly, just as they had trained. The Memory of Dawn's hidden weapons ports opened. Inside them were guns that combined human innovation with alien technology. Saz's face appeared on the screen again. This time, the alien's shifting eyes showed fear. "Wait, we can share our technology with you, make you advanced like us." Admiral Park's voice cut through all channels. "We don't need your technology. We built our own. This is the price of underestimating humanity. This is the cost of killing our children. The battle lasted less than an hour. When it ended, the Rion fleet was destroyed or captured. Sad's ship floated powerless, its engines dark, and its weapons disabled. In the colony below, people emerged from their shelters to watch Earth's ships move through the sky. Many cried at the sight, not from fear, but from pride. Humanity had hidden its strength for so long, waiting for this day. Han-Ta stood on his bridge, holding Ms. notebook. He opened it to her last drawing, the ball of light that had taken her life. On the next page, he wrote, "First victory at Deimos. For Mai." But this was just the beginning. The Rion would send more ships when they learned what happened. They would come with bigger weapons and stronger shields. This time, humanity would be ready. Not hiding, not pretending to be weak. The Rion had wanted to study human reactions. Now they would learn about human strength, human courage, and human vengeance. The war had begun with the death of a child. It would end only when justice was done. 3 months after the Battle of Deimos, the war spread across 3 star systems. Captain Li Jin stood on the bridge of her ship, the Swift Wind, watching her tactical display. At 28, she was the youngest captain in Earth's fleet, trained personally by Admiral Park. Enemy ships approaching from Sector 7, her scanner officer reported. 5 large vessels, Rion design. Li Jin nodded. The Swift Wind was smaller than most warships, but it was fast. She had already destroyed 15 Rion ships using hit-and-run tactics. "Show me the colony," she ordered. The screen changed to show Haven Colony, built inside an asteroid. 10,000 people lived there, including many families who had fled from Mars. The Rion wanted to destroy it to teach humanity another lesson. "They won't take another child," Li Jin said quietly. Battle stations. On the Memory of Dawn, Commander Han-Ta received Li Jin's call for help. His ship was escorting a group of refugees to Earth, but Haven was close enough to reach in time. "How many civilians in the colony?" he asked his officers. 3,000 children, sir, including 50 from Hubuzen. Han-Ta looked at Ms. notebook, now kept in a clear case on his command desk. The pages were worn from him reading them every night. Change course. Maximum speed to Haven. But as they turned toward the colony, something unexpected happened. New ships appeared on their scanners, but they weren't Rion or human. "Sir," his communications officer called. "We're receiving a message. It's from another alien species." The screen lit up showing a creature with golden scales and 4 eyes. "People of Earth," it said in careful English. "We are the Krell. We too have suffered under Rion cruelty. We wish to help." The Krell ships moved to protect Haven Colony. Their weapons were different from both human and Rion technology. The Rion ships pulled back, surprised by the new threat. "Why didn't you fight them before?" Han-Ta asked the Krell leader. "We were afraid, but we watched how your people fought back. You showed us that the Rion can be beaten." More messages came in from across space. Other alien races, long hidden from the Rion, wanted to join Earth's fight. Some had better weapons. Others knew secret ways to travel through space. All of them had lost people to Rion tests. Captain Li Jin saw her chance. "All ships, attack pattern Echo," she ordered. Her fleet, now joined by Krell vessels, surrounded the Rion ships. The battle was quick but fierce. The Swift Wind danced between enemy shots, its guns blazing. The Krell ships used strange energy beams that cut through Rion shields like paper. When it was over, Haven Colony was safe, but Han-Ta felt no joy in the victory. In his quarters, he looked at photos of his daughter, remembering her smile, her dreams of exploring space. "Commander," a young officer called through his door. "The Krell want to show you something." In Haven's main hall, the Krell leader waited with other alien representatives. Behind them stood a memorial wall. On it were pictures of children from a dozen different species, all victims of Rion cruelty. Your daughter's death sparked this rebellion, the Krell leader said. But she was not the first child they killed. Now together, we can make sure she is the last. Han Tai added Mai's picture to the wall. Around it, he placed some of her drawings, spaceships she had imagined, aliens she had hoped to meet as friends. Admiral Park's voice came through all channels. The Rian are pulling back to their core systems. They're calling for reinforcements. The real war is about to begin. The alien allies shared their knowledge. The Krell knew where the Rian were weakest. Others had maps of secret Rian bases. Together, they planned their next moves. But that night, alone in his quarters, Han Ta cried for the first time since Mi's death. The war would bring justice, but it wouldn't bring her back. On his desk, her notebook lay open to a drawing of Earth's fleet, the ships flying together in formation. Below it, she had written in careful letters, "One day, everyone in space will be friends." The war would continue. But now, because of one child's death, her dream of different species working together was coming true, even if not in the way she had imagined. The warning came too late. On the colony world of New Hope, alarm sirens screamed as a massive Rayan ship appeared in orbit. This was no ordinary warship. It was a planet killer, a weapon the Rayan had kept hidden until now. Admiral Park Sun's fleet was 3 hours away. Too far to help. Get those evacuation ships launched now, she ordered through the emergency channel. The Vengeance's engines burned hot as they raced to save the colony's 1,000,000 residents. On the memory of dawn, Han Ta watched his screens in horror. The Rayan ship was charging its main weapon, a beam that could crack a planet's crust. "How many people are still on the surface?" he asked. 700,000, sir. The evacuation ships can't take off fast enough." The planet killer's weapon glowed green, preparing to fire. But then something unexpected happened. A small ship shot out of New Hope's atmosphere, flying straight at the Rian vessel. It was the Swift Wind. Captain Li Jin's voice crackled over the command channel. "This is for all the children they killed." "Li Jin, pull back," Admiral Park ordered. "That's a direct command." But the young captain didn't reply. The Swift Wind, its engines glowing white-hot, accelerated toward the planet killer's main weapon. Han Tai understood her plan. She's going to ram their firing chamber. Admiral Park's face showed both pride and pain. She had trained Li Jin herself. "All ships, cover the Swift Wind. Give her a chance." The Ran ship tried to shoot down the small human vessel, but Li Jin flew like she was dancing among the stars. The Swift Wind dodged and weaved, getting closer and closer. 20 seconds to weapon discharge, Han Tai's officer reported. Li Jin's voice came through one last time. "Tell my family I love them. Tell Earth I did my duty." The Swift Wind slammed into the planet killer's main gun just as it tried to fire. The explosion lit up space like a new sun. The planet killer's weapon backfired, tearing the massive ship apart. But the Swift Wind and its brave captain were gone. "She saved them," Admiral Park whispered. "She saved them all." The evacuation continued, now with time to get everyone out. The memory of dawn landed to help load people onto rescue ships. As Han Ta walked through the colony's streets, he saw children clutching toys and parents carrying what little they could save. A small girl, about May's age, dropped her stuffed bear. Han Ta picked it up and handed it back to her. "It's going to be okay," he said, his voice gentle. "Are you going to stop the bad aliens?" she asked. Han Ta looked at the sky where the Swift Wind had made its final flight. "Yes," he said, "whatever it takes." Back on his ship, he opened Mi's notebook. On one page, she had drawn herself as a captain, standing proud on a ship's bridge. Li Jin had been like that. Young, brave, full of dreams. Admiral Park called an emergency meeting of all fleet commanders and their alien allies. Her face was tired but determined. "The Rion crossed a line today," she said. "They tried to destroy an entire world. But they also showed us something important. They're afraid. They're using their strongest weapons because they know they're losing. The Krell leader agreed. Our spies report the Rion are pulling back to their home systems. Their people are questioning their leaders. Not all of them support this war. Hanta spoke up. Then we take the fight to them. Not for revenge anymore, but for justice. For Li Jin, for Mai, for all the innocent lives they've taken. Admiral Park nodded. I'm promoting Captain Li Han Jin posthumously to Admiral. Her sacrifice will not be forgotten. She looked at each commander in turn. Now we plan our final attack. The Rion wanted to study human nature. Let's show them what happens when humanity and its allies stand together. That night, Han Tai added a new picture to Mi's notebook, a drawing of the swift wind, flying forever among the stars. Below it, he wrote, "Some lights shine brightest in their final moment." The war had reached its turning point. The road ahead would be hard. But now, they knew victory was possible, not just for Earth, but for all the species who had suffered under Rion cruelty. The final battle was coming. The combined fleet of Earth and its allies emerged from hyperspace near the Rion home system. 3,000 ships strong. They filled the space between the twin suns. The memory of Dawn led one wing, while Admiral Park's vengeance commanded the center. Han Ta stood on his bridge, holding Mez's notebook one last time. Show me their capital world. The screen revealed a beautiful blue-green planet. Rion cities gleamed like silver beneath the clouds. Their mighty fleet formed a defensive ring around their world. They're broadcasting. Sir, his communications officer said. It's the High Commander. The alien who appeared on screen wasn't Sa, but someone higher in command. I am Val, leader of the Rion. You have fought well, humans. We offer you peace. Return to your worlds, and we will leave you alone. Admiral Park's voice cut through all channels. No more deals. No more tests. You face judgment today for every life you've taken. The battle began. Earth ships fought side by side with their alien allies. The Krell's golden vessels struck from above, while human fighters attacked from below. Ships from a dozen worlds, all victims of Rion cruelty, joined the assault. Han Ta's memory of Dawn sliced through enemy lines. His crew worked perfectly, remembering all their training. On his desk, May's notebook lay open to her last drawing, the one she never finished. Enemy flagship detected, his scanner officer reported. It's Sa's vessel. Han Ta's hands tightened on his chair. Sa, the one who had killed Mai, commanded the Rion's largest ship. Take us in. The memory of Dawn turned toward its target. Around them, the space battle raged. Admiral Park's vengeance protected Earth's smaller ships while they struck at the Rion's defenses. Sir, his officer called. Sa is hailing us. The alien's face appeared, those shifting eyes now showing real fear. Commander Han, you have proved your point. Your species is stronger than we thought. Let us end this. You killed my daughter, Han Ta said quietly. She was drawing pictures of your ships. She wanted to be friends. It was necessary. We had to understand. No, Han Ta's voice was firm. You didn't have to understand anything. You chose cruelty. You chose to kill a child. Now you choose again, surrender for trial or die fighting. Sa's ship turned to fire, but the memory of Dawn was faster. Weapons that humanity had developed in secret, combined with technology from their alien allies, struck true. Sa's mighty vessel cracked apart like an egg. The Rion fleet, seeing their champion fall, began to retreat. Some ships surrendered, their crews realizing their leaders had led them down a dark path. High Commander Val's voice shook as he called again. What are your terms? Admiral Park spoke for Earth and its allies. Your leaders will face trial for their crimes. Your weapons will be destroyed. Your empire will end. But your people can live in peace if they choose to. The surrender took 3 hours. Han Ta watched from the memory of Dawn as Rion ships powered down their weapons. In the end, they weren't as mighty as they had thought. 1 month later, Han Ta stood in a new building on Mars. The Han Me School for Interstellar Studies welcomed its first students, human children learning alongside young aliens from all allied species. Even some Rayan children attended, their parents having chosen a different path than their leaders. In the school's main hall hung Ms. Notebook, protected behind special glass. Her drawings of spaceships and alien friends were now real. Different species worked together, shared knowledge, built peace. She would have loved this, Admiral Park said, standing beside him. Han Ta nodded, watching the children play together. She believed everyone could be friends. Even after everything that happened, she was right. Above the school, ships from Earth and its allies patrolled peacefully. The Rayan leaders faced justice for their crimes. Their empire was gone, but their people had a chance to build something better. That night, Han Ta visited May's memorial. He placed a new drawing next to it, made by a young Rayan student. It showed human and alien children holding hands beneath the stars. "The war is over, Maya," he whispered. "Your death brought pain, but it also brought change. Now the stars are safer for all children." He looked up at Mars's night sky, where Earth shone like a blue jewel. Humanity had proved its strength, not just in fighting, but in building a better future. And somewhere, he hoped, Mai was smiling.